Ladies and gentlemen, my name is XPC Reaper from Trojan Horse Gaming, bringing you a little look at FTL Faster Than Light. First things first, let's show you the options menu. Mark, that's not an options menu. How can you call that an options menu? Because this runs on any game and it runs on any system and it has a very deliberate art style to it. It's the sort of thing where this is fine that it doesn't have 150 sliders, that it doesn't have all these big fancy systems, because it doesn't need them. This is a very simplistic game. It's a roguelite, I suppose, is the way you would sort of describe this kind of title, because it's not completely roguelike, but it has elements of it. It has elements like it randomly generates the weapons and all those sort of things. I know a lot of people will call these kinds of games roguelikes or roguelites. Never played the original game Rogue, so I couldn't actually tell you what it was like. It'd just be wrong for me to try and even pretend I have a clue about what it is. So instead, why not actually sort of admit I don't know anything about roguelikes or roguelites. I just know that it's a very randomized sort of game a lot of the time. We're going to attack the slaver scum. Yes, fortunately they do not have any form of that system. I should probably send one of our boys into our shield rooms, one of our boys into our weapon rooms to increase the speed at which we're going to be firing our weapons. Now you can see they just teleported bombs and all. These guys, since we've damaged their engine, won't be able to evade targets. Since we've got their shield damaged, they won't have their shields at full capacity as they initially could. Since we're damaging and disabling their weapons, they won't be able to do as much as they could. Now, if I was just to give you a little overview of what each of these rooms is, that one right there, in the top left, is our drone control room. If it gets damaged, then it'll decrease the amount of power we can assign to our drones. We've got the oxygen system. Now, oxygen is very important in this, because your crew, unless they're robots, need it to stay alive. But, at the same time, if I was to get a fire in this part of the ship, for example, I could open these doors to drain all the oxygens out of those rooms and basically turn them into a vacuum. And since there would be a vacuum, there would not actually be any possibility for a fire to continue. If we were to look at the weapons, for example, we've got 3 power bars for our weapons, and all of those are being assigned to our Ion Blast 2. Now, if we were to increase the power going into the ship system that we were able to allocate to our weapons, we'd be able to use more weapons simultaneously. But instead, I usually prefer going for the shields, because it's very important to have a good defensive stature in this game. For me, usually the way I play, I do have a very defensive stature in terms of things, and I will always try. Oh no, I'm not surrendering any of my boys. You can notice I press space. Well, you don't actually notice that I press the space bar on my keyboard, of course, but if I press space, I can pause the game, and I can basically assign my attacks and everything beforehand. Now, we've just used our weapon system thing. We just used our Ion Blast. Fortunately, since it was attacking through that, we managed to get a shot into their weapon systems, and we're just taking out their weapon systems more and more. I could tell our boys to focus. No, I don't want another crew member because I don't have any need for them. We could tell our boys to focus on the ion systems they have, or the engine systems with our Ion Blast, which means they won't be able to power up their engines to escape, meaning we can more effectively take them out. Now you can see right there I've got 4 bars, but you can only increase the shields in bars of 2. And if I was to have that there, you can see up the top, I get 2 shield status as opposed to just 1, but that'll actually draw my power away, so I won't be able to use anti-ship drones, meaning I won't have any possibility of doing damage to the enemy, which of course is detrimental. Now at a time like this, honestly, it's risky, but I am actually gonna use one of my shields. I'm gonna basically take away from my shield system in order to start neutralizing their weapon systems. Now they just managed to actually take out some of the power on our shield systems, but that means, unfortunately, since we have the 4 bars available, it doesn't cause any particular damage. I could send one of our boys in to repair that. I don't know why I was actually focusing on that there. I'm gonna show you what I mean about the oxygen drain by depriving these rooms of oxygen so that there won't be any possibility for them to continue those fires. Those fires are going to get extinguished. Now fires can spread. I'm just going to see what race is Moustache. I don't know if he's human or not. And for the record, that's not a comment about the person, that's a comment about there are a multitude of different races you get in this game, and each different race will give you different benefits. For example, some of them, like the robots, won't require oxygen, some of them are tremendously good at repairing things, some of them are abominably bad at so many different things, but they're great at combat. Number of ships convening around a station. They need to take possession of... Okay, well apparently I'm not overly equipped for that. Now you could see that little mission thing telling me I had an option for it. Now the enemy here is going to be charging their systems. They're charging up to try and escape. So what I'm going to try and do is shut their engines down. And I am hoping... Unfortunately, it looks like they might actually power up their ship. Nope, we got an ion blast into their engines, and we're gonna continue this ad infinitum, ideally. We're managing to get our drone to take out things bit by bit. We've managed to damage their engines, so they're gonna be slower to retreat. We've managed to disable their engine. They've got no oxygen, they've got no med bay. They've got a severely weakened shield system, which means they ideally won't be able... We've completely destroyed their engines at the moment, so unless they send boys to repair it, they won't be able to escape in time, and we can do that, kill them, and what do we get for it? We get 1 drone parts and 13 scrap, which we can use to upgrade our ship. Now you can also use scrap for different things. You can use it for buying weapons, etc. out of the ship, or out of a store. Yes. Okay, well, I am definitely going to take this boy out. We're going to focus on his weapon systems. Now, it looks like they're teleporting boys in to try and eliminate our pilot, which is not cool by me. I'm not keen on that. I don't want that. I don't want them trying to take our boys out, and I certainly don't want them succeeding. Now, you'll notice some of my boys, even in combat, that guy, Reaper, is actually healing. And that's because this particular ship has an augmentation called NG Medbot Dispersal. Or is it Dispersion? I can't remember, but it basically means regardless of where the person is on the ship, they will be healed at only a small fraction of what the medbay would restore naturally, but they still get healed outside of it. Now we can implement power bar. So now we have enough power that we can have 2 shield levels, and at the same time we can use our drones, etc. We've got a pile of missiles. Okay. Yes, I am definitely going to attack that automated ship. I am going to fire at their weapon systems because I noticed they've got an ion system and a missile system. I don't want them using either, to be perfectly honest. So I'm going to try and hopefully keep their systems offline as much as possible, and at some point it's going to come where my ion blast is going to take out their shields, and I'm going to be able to continue doing damage directly to the ship. Now they can't evade anymore because they don't have any form of engine system. They've got a damaged weapon system, so they can only use one of their weapons. Since they don't have any crew on that automated ship, they won't be able to repair any systems. meaning it's just a case of whittling them down bit by bit after that. Now we get 15 and we get a defense drone Mark II. Now I usually don't use defense drones, so that's not going to be of any accord to me, but even still, seems alright. I'm going to go to a Mantis controlled sector because I want to show you more of the combat in this. Now there are a lot of different ship types you can unlock, and a lot of them do require you to go to specific points. You can see on the map there we had a distress beacon. NG crew to calm down the infected. Okay, that's alright. Since we had an NG crew, we were able to deal with that effectively, and just focus. Oh dear. Oh dear. Hostiles are detected on board our ship. I am gonna cause an oxygen flash, and I am gonna deprive these rooms of oxygen so that these guys get killed. And okay, no, it looks like they're really focused on trying to kill us. So I am going to send all my boys in so that everyone is in combat against these guys. Now with things like that, their solar flare, that's going to cause fires in our ship, but the fires won't be as severe all the time. Like, since we have 2 shields, we're able to actually mitigate some of the damage which might actually be caused. And you can see we're going to send him out, we're going to send him directly into the med bay. We're also going to send him directly into the med bay. We're going to send you directly into the med bay. And these guys are going to follow us to this part. Oh, wow. Yeah, you're not allowed to take out our doors because we sort of need those for getting rid of the flash fires. Now, we can close that off. We can slowly start restoring oxygen to the ship. And what I'm going to do is send the boys with the 2 highest health points to repair the ship, basically. Okay, we've got that going on. We don't want that going on, so we're going to actually fix up that fire. We're going to send our boys to the appropriate parts. Reaper, you were the ship captain, you were on the weapon systems, and you were manning the shields. Now we can jump away from this point. We're going to go to here. Now one thing I should mention, you can't just constantly keep jumping about the stars, because after a while rebel ships and all will start trying to get you. Now unfortunately these guys are sending even more people in to attack our ship, and they've got pretty decent systems from what I can gather. They've got good enough weapon systems, they've got good combatants who are attacking our ship. So it'll be a case of these guys are probably going to continue damaging our drone parts until either they get fed up. No, you're not allowed to do that. You're not taking my oxygen. They just destroyed our oxygen. So we're going to send 2 of our boys into the engine room to keep combating them while we send our pilot away to do that. Now hopefully, yes, we just managed to actually take out that there. And we've got 2 combatants. Yes. That's alright, so now we can have Moustache move back onto the shields, and we can have you move onto the weapon systems. That's not actually helpful. We're gonna have to use both of our boys to repair that. Now, hopefully that'll fix up. Yep, that's alright, so oxygen is slowly being restored to the ship. We can start working on our drone systems, which means we're gonna be able to actually send an anti-ship drone in to combat their ship, and we're finally going to be able to start dealing damage to them. And wow, they just took out some of the defense on our drone systems. They just took out our sensors. We have no engine, no sensors, and we have no door control. But fortunately we have no fire started in the ship. They've got no weapon systems until the ion burst wears off on that point, and we're slowly gonna end up reaching a point where the ion blast is gonna hit the shields instead of the weapon system. We could just tell our ion blast to focus directly on their shields, and that's gonna mean we can just keep firing at their shields. Okay, they're trying to get away. So we're going to focus on their engine. Nope, apparently we're not. We're going to focus on their weapon system now, because they do have access to full weapon systems, and hopefully, yes, there we go. That means all of those guys are destroyed, we get fuel, drone parts and scrap from it, and we're going to repair our ship up to an ideal standard. So we can just keep repairing our engine, right, that's it, up to full. We can have Moustache move on to the shield since he's gaining experience. You can see here what the experience is. So if I was to send Sparksy on weapons, it gets 10% faster charge, but if he gets another 21 XP in the weapon system, he's gonna actually level up so that it'll have a higher boost on it. We've got someone like Reaper, who's got evasion +5, which means we're gonna be able to have +5 evasion on it. And it's important because towards the end of this game, you really do come to a point, damn it, now we've got a real problem. They're trying to take out our shields. And if they take out the system, that's going to deal damage to our hull, I believe. We're going to see, yep, so they're slowly breaking apart our ships from the inside. And I'm basically just going to create an oxygen flash so that they get choked out, ideally. You can see their health is slowly going down. And unfortunately, wow. They're really determined to keep attacking this ship. So if they come into the med bay, wow, one of them is actually trying to take out our piloting as well, which is going to be really, really irritating. It looks like this could potentially be the end of me if we don't take out these guys and one of them continues up and starts attacking our weapon systems. And is actually he's successful in destroying it. So if we lose 3 more systems, like if he destroys our weapon system or our oxygen, then we're screwed. I'm not sure what he's attacking right now. I think he's actually got choked out. I think he may have got choked out because of that. And so we're going to send our boys to repair the doors. We're also going to close off all the doors so that oxygen slowly returns to the ship. Our boys will stop taking damage and they'll start healing up again. Well, we've got a lot of repair work to actually do before we can move on to the next sector. And if we move on to the next bit and an enemy gets 4 shots in on our systems, we're going to die. And when we die, there's no form of checkpoints in this, which is, I think it's one of the key things of a roguelite, but again, I'm not sure because I don't know the definition of a roguelite. But it's just, this is a game where it's all dependent on luck and to a certain degree skill. Because oftentimes you will get these unfortunate events and it'll be almost like a dice roll where you're trying to make the best of a situation. And a lot of the times it will give you a bad situation, which is extremely unfortunate. Now if we were to move to that there, we've only got 13 scrap. You can repair, oh, we can sell 5 missiles for 15 scrap, which is going to be handy. We could move to the next sector, and I guess we're going to have to. I'm going to go to the civilian sector because right now it doesn't look like we're in much of a position to survive much combat. We could go to the store, and going to the store might actually be a very good idea. Ship engineer. We can sell our defense drone, which is going to give us 37 scrap. We could spend 52, but I'm gonna try and keep this sort of relatively simple. We're gonna buy another anti-ship drone. I think it'd be nice to have 2 anti-ship drones attacking simultaneously. Seems like the sort of thing which could be very, very handy in a combat scenario. Okay, wow. Okay, they've got cloaking. So basically we have to wait for them to uncloak before we can target their ship and start attacking. And they'll continue uncloaking more and more. Well, they'll continue cloaking if we allow it to actually get to a point where their cloaking systems will be effective. Now they're doing damage to our ship, definitely. Fortunately, they've got no way of repairing things. And that glaive beam I don't think can actually cut through our shields. I hope not. And we've just managed to take it out, but if you look, we're on 2 hull string, which is not particularly effective. It's not the ideal scenario I would hope to be in at this stage, and we can just spend that, and now we'll be able to actually, if we draw 1 away from that fire, okay, damn it, that fire is continuing to do damage to our system. Oh wow, I did not realize how much the ship was actually on fire, so I'm basically gonna drain the oxygen from every room which doesn't have a crew member in it. And I'm gonna hope and pray that the ship actually remains intact. Now it looks like I can't see anything else which looks like it would continue to be on fire, so we can send our boys back to their normal stations. We can jump to the next part. You'll notice our cameras aren't working, that's because we're in a nebula and we've only got stage 1 sensors. This is going to be very irritating, but I am hoping that we'll be able to neutralize a lot of their boys. Damn it! Again with the enemy soldiers. They just teleported a pilot into the ship, and yep, that's us dead. Because, well, we could have repaired earlier, but I just wanted to keep things as simplistic as shown. We can just go to the main menu and we can have a look. You can see the options menu is the same in-game as it is outside the game. You can see you've got a wide variety of different ship types. A lot of the content in this game you'll only actually find based on where it spawns in the game. Not every map is guaranteed to have all the things you would want it to. So quite often you will find points where you're going to be sticking with the base weapons, but on some runs you'll get points where these base weapons get completely overpowered by weapons you find and are able to buy later on. You'll get more scrap, and depending on what way you play it and what way the game is generated, you can have tremendously overpowered runs, and you can have runs which just honestly make you feel incredibly weak. But ladies and gentlemen, this has been FTL, Faster Than Light. It's available on Steam. Would I recommend this game? Yes. Would I recommend picking up the soundtrack, which is an additional bonus content thing? Yes. I've got the soundtrack, I picked it up in the Humble Bundle a fair time ago. It was one of the Humble Indie Bundles, but it's just, the soundtrack is one of the ones, it's these sort of chiptunes, but you can definitely sit back and listen to it idly if you're wanting something calming. And I would just say, is this game worth your money? Yeah. It frequently appears in Humble Bundles. I think it's appeared in 3 that I've seen in the past year, and it's worth it every single time out of them. Even if you're having to pay full price for this game, you're gonna find it a worthwhile purchase if you enjoy the look of this game. Because it's one of those ones, if you're looking at this, you are probably looking at this video and going, no, Mark, that's not what you should do. That's not what you want to do. You don't want to do that there. You want to do that there. But it's like, you know what? It's my ship. It's my crew. If you think you can do better, buy the game and do better. Because you quite probably can. And just, this is a game which I would not, on any day, not recommend. Because it's so simple to jump into, and it'll run on any machine whatsoever. It's just a tremendously fun game which you'd enjoy, and I do hope you pick it up. So ladies and gentlemen, my name has been XPC Reaper. This has been a library card look at FTL Faster Than Light. Thank you very much for joining us. As always, feel free to like, subscribe, leave a comment below. Have a nice time, and see you next time.